Hi, welcome to this practice. It's just going to be quite a simple, slow flow just to get the energy in your body moving nicely and hopefully leave you feeling quite centered and peaceful, ready for the rest of your day or evening. And we're just going to start in a seated position. So if for you that's most comfortable to be on a chair, you can sit on a chair. You can also use any props you have handy. I like to sit up on a block, just under my bum, in a kneeling position, but this can be any way that works for you. And you can close your eyes when you're ready. And just taking this first few moments to really land, to allow yourself to just disconnect from whatever you've been doing before this class, whatever you've been thinking about before this practice. Giving yourself permission just to put things down for a while. And just noticing how your body is, your physical presence. Noticing which parts of your body are calling out for attention or just coming into your awareness. And then noticing another layer of your being, your mind, your mental layer. Acknowledging if your mind feels quite agitated or if it feels quite calm and clear. There's no right or wrong, we're just kind of gathering useful information about ourselves in this moment. Another layer to the south, the emotional body, the felt sense of your body, of your being, what kind of mood you're sitting with. Maybe it's a mood that's been with you for a few days or weeks or even months. Maybe it's just a fleeting feeling. Acknowledging its quality, whether it's light or heavy, where you feel it most, in which part of the body. And then connecting to the energetic layer. So how connected you feel to your energy body, and whether you feel kind of full of energy, whether you can feel it flowing quite well through your physical body or not. Again, it's just useful information. And then your spirit body, that part of yourself which is unchanging, ageless, timeless. How connected to that part of yourself do you feel in this moment? It's often kind of this part of self that I connect to when I meditate, or even when I just start a yoga practice. I dwell on this part a little bit longer than the other parts. This kind of peaceful center, this part that's unchanged and unaffected by things happening. The mind sometimes clouds it, but it's still there nonetheless. And as you kind of stay connected to spirit, just start to deepen your breath. Seeing if you can bring your breath a little bit down more into the abdomen. Breathing in and out through the nose. And just acknowledging for a moment that you choose, you decide how you feel from here on out. What is it that you want to call in today? And what is it that you want to let go of? If there's nothing in particular you can think of or that comes to mind, I always just simply inhale love, exhale fear. Most kind of emotions or qualities can be kind of broken down into either love or fear. It can be things that are present or things that are unconscious that you can be working with, or both, as you breathe. And just bringing your two hands together in front of your heart. And just honouring this time you've given to yourself, to your practice. And bowing your head to your heart. Gently blinking the eyes open, coming upright, and then coming straight to all fours. And just starting by just moving a few circles through the hips. And as you do that, try and soften your jaw, your face. If you're a bit of a jaw clencher like me, it can be a really good reminder when we start circling the hips. Anytime we do anything with the hips, see if you can also relax the jaw and throat. And these areas said to be related to each other. If there's tension in one, there tends to be tension in the other. You can make these movements a little bit bigger, kind of wild cat, cow. Just moving into any parts that feel a little bit sticky or stiff within your physical body, within your energy body. And let your breath kind of breathe through those parts. Okay, just coming back to center, more onto the kind of sagittal plane, so the forward and backward plane. Just move through cat-cows slowly. So you drop the belly down as you inhale and you draw the belly back and round the spine as you exhale. Inhaling that quality you want to connect to, exhaling anything that holds you back from receiving that. Sometimes I like to say to myself, inhaling love, exhaling trust. Trust that everything is as it should be. Trusting the cycles, the phases, the seasons of life. And just turn this to be a little bit more side to side, so looking over one shoulder. So you've got a little kind of side bend of the spine, and then looking over the other one. You can do each side again. And then coming back to child's pose, knees wide, big toes together, just sink back. Arms come forward. Actually, you can tuck the toes for this, so just come back up and tuck the toes. Knees can still be fairly wide and feet towards each other, but just have the toes tucked, so we just get a little bit of a stretch in the feet. Allow your head to drop, your weight to drop. And then slowly coming back up. I'm going to do a little bit of a twist through the spine with thread the needle. So with your next breath in, you're going to start to lift your left arm up. Doesn't have to come all the way up, just a bit. And then as you exhale, start to thread it through. Palm facing up, all the way under the left arm. Under the right arm. And then just take a few breaths here. Feel that little twist in the back. It's kind of mostly in the mid, kind of upper back, thoracic spine. You can have a block underneath your head if it feels like your neck is collapsing a lot for your head to come down. And then pressing into your right hand to come up when you're ready. Okay, and even though this is a video practice, you're free to kind of move a little bit at your own pace. You don't have to always come out exactly when I tell you to. You might come out before or a little bit after. I'm going to do the other side when you're ready. Lifting the right arm up. Maybe with a big breath in, and then with a breath out, thread. And rest for a few breaths. I'm going to put a block under my head this time just to show you how that looks. So it's just above the ear. Can give you a little bit more space to thread that bottom arm too and get a little bit more sensation across the shoulder. If you're not feeling much. Beautiful. Coming back up when you're ready. Moving the block. Coming back to child's again. This time toes untucked, arms forward. Lift your forearms off the floor, keeping your elbows down. Hands come into prayer. The back of the head, maybe drop into the neck. Maybe not. Just see what feels good. And you can slide the elbows a little bit forward if you like to increase that feeling of opening across the shoulders. And breathe. Giving yourself permission to really check out from whatever stories the mind is suggesting. Use the breath in your lungs as a real anchor. Back to the moment, back to your intention. Hands can start to come back down. You can look forward, and we're going to slide into upward puppy. So you're sliding the hands forward and kind of uncurling the hips. So you end up kind of on your pubic bone, legs down, arms about the width of the mat, and hands turning out about 30 degrees. When we have the hands turning out like this, it activates some muscles in the mid-back, which help to kind of keep us upright without loading too much on the lower back, the lumbar spine. You might kind of bring a little bit of movement to this shape as well, just looking over one shoulder and then the other. Feeling the spine like a beaded necklace. It's got space between each of the vertebrae. It's got freedom. Okay, we can lower back down. Hands under the shoulders. Tuck the toes, pushing back to tabletop, to child's, and then springing into your first downward dog. We'll stay for 5 breaths or so. You can move a little bit. No child's pose is always there through any of these practices if you need to rest. Make sure you can always stay connected to the breath being kind of the first thing that disappears when we start to struggle in a pose. And then you can look forward towards your hands. You're either going to step through with your right foot. If you know that you can't get the right foot between the hands, you can also just lower the knees back to tabletop and then step the right foot forward like that. Okay, so you're in a low lunge position, however you're getting there. You might move that left knee back just a little bit. And just take a moment here. So if you have 2 blocks, you can use them. You don't necessarily need them, but it can just feel a little bit nicer to bring the ground up a bit. Again, soften the jaw as you soften the hips. And then we're going to just straighten that front leg, so half splits. And you can bring the blocks back a bit with you if you're using blocks. You might just be on your fingertips if you don't have them. Either is perfect. Notice I'm still pretty high up. There's a little bit of a forward fold in my upper body, but I'm trying to maintain this length of the spine. Front foot flexed up towards the sky. Okay, and then you can come forward again. I'm going to come into a little bit of a twist, so left hand can come down. Right arm can open up. And again, you don't necessarily need a block under your hand if you don't have one. If you do, it can be nice. It can give you a little bit more space. And then lowering back down. Coming back to tabletop. Back to down dog. And just taking a moment, just shifting around in your down dog a little bit, bending, straightening one leg at a time, or both legs at the same time. And then stepping your left leg forward when you're ready. You might bend the knees and drop them first, or you might just step the left leg through and help it the rest of the way. If it doesn't get there, drop the right knee down. Hands can come on blocks if you like. Whatever height works, there's 3 heights of the blocks. Sending your energy down into the lower body, the hips, the legs, the earth. And then you can straighten out that front leg, coming back a little bit. And again, you can stay high on the fingertips or on the block. We sometimes get a bit caught up in aesthetics in yoga and how things look. But it's really not important, and actually it can kind of take some of your confidence away from seeing people, really folding over as far as they can and rounding. Okay, it's not a competition to get down. So long as you can feel something in the target area of the pose, in this case the back of the left leg, then you're doing it. That's kind of the blessing of doing yoga at home. You don't worry so much about how you look in relation to anyone else. Okay, you can come forward again. Step back into your downward facing dog. Walk the feet forward towards the hands. Okay, so you end up in a forward fold at the top of your mat. You might hold on to the arms, just let the hair go, let the head go, the jaw, a little bend in the knees. If you feel like a little sway from side to side, feel free. And then we're going to do a spinal roll back up. So before you start moving, bend your knees quite a bit. And when we bend the knees, we can then really connect to the earth, and we can find this downward force through the legs and feet into the earth. And then from that downward force, we can find a rebound force of energy up through the body. You can peel super slowly up, head and neck coming up last. And just take a moment here, standing, closing the eyes. Feeling the physical body, and maybe a little bit more the energetic body activated. Maybe in your fingers. Okay, we're going to roll back down in a moment, and that starts with a little bend in the knees, the chin coming forward, the heavy head starting to lower, and the spine, each section rolling forward as well. Okay, and then stepping back with your right foot, dropping your right knee. We're back in this low lunge position as you ground through your lower body, your feet, and you breathe in. You're going to lift the arms up. And then as you breathe out, bring the hands back down and step back to your downward dog. Then lowering the knees, back to child's briefly. And then sliding forward into upward puppy. Taking a moment here. Lowering back down again. Through child's to down dog. Stepping right leg through, dropping left knee, affirming your connection with the earth. As you inhale, lifting your arms up. As you exhale, folding back forward and stepping up to the top of your mat. Little bend in the knees. Your spine will roll up when you're ready. That rebound energy being received through the legs, spine. And once you're up, use a breath in to lift your arms out to each side and up. And exhale to bring your hands back to heart center. Next inhale, we're going to lift the arms up this time. Little bend in the knees perhaps to push up. Exhale to fold forward. Bend in the knees, fairly straight spine as you come down. Inhale, your left leg comes back. We're not going to drop the back knee this time. Keep it up. But again, reaffirm your connection to the ground. This downward energy can rebound up through the body as you lift the arms, the upper body. Use your next breath in to lift the arms up. And your next breath out to fold back forward. Step back to down dog. And come to child's pose briefly. From child's pose, looking up, sliding the body forward into your upward puppy again. And then as you exhale, lowering back down. Back to down dog. Left foot steps through when you're ready. We're not going to drop the back knee. We're going to keep it up, maybe a little bit bent. Reaffirm your connection to the ground. Feel that your legs are doing the work. Feet want to be about hip distance apart for stability. And then you can slowly start to lift up when you're ready. Strong legs. Taking a breath in as you lift the arms. And a breath out as you fold back forward. Step forward to a forward fold. And then just heel and toe your feet apart. So your toes are turning out and your heels are turning in. And you can lower down into a squat. Okay, for some of you this might not be suitable for your knees or your ankles. You can just come to sit straight on your bum if that's the case. If it feels okay to you, you can bring your hands together into prayer. Take a moment to observe your breath in your belly, your pelvic floor. Then you can lower the bum down. Feet together, just a little Baddha Konasana before we come to lay down. So, soles of feet together. I'll show you from this way. You can sit up on a block if you need to, if you feel like you're excessively kind of sinking back and that natural curve in your lower back has been lost, then sit up. Otherwise, I'm going to fold over. Once you sit on a block, you might find that you have a lot more space to fold forward, just holding onto the feet. You can kind of wrap your hands around the feet. Stay in a place where you can still receive the breath easily. Inhaling all that you want to feel, all that you want to be. And exhaling all that you don't need anymore. And slowly coming back up, bringing the knees back together. Little reverse tabletop after that. Fingers turn in behind you, legs bent. You're just going to push up. And then lowering down. And coming down onto the mat. Let your legs just kind of windscreen from side to side. You might stay each side for a breath or two if you feel like it, or you might just flow. And when you're ready, coming back through center into your Shavasana. And this can be with the legs bent, like me. Another nice thing to do, if you've got a bolster, is to put the bolster under your knees. If you don't have a bolster, the 2 blocks, one underneath each thigh, hamstrings, just kind of above the knees. It just feels really nice to release the lower back a little bit. Whatever resting pose you're choosing, closing your eyes, letting go of all effort. Again, connecting to that part of yourself that's unchanging. Your spirit. And for the last couple of minutes, just being kind of within that space, within spirit, within this kind of loving awareness of all that arises in the moment. Sensations and energy you can feel around your body. The quality of your natural breath moving through you just by itself. Thoughts, they come in, they leave. Sometimes they dwell for a while. Sometimes you catch them straight away. And then we can connect to that part of ourselves that's unchanging. We can start to see that in all things. We can start to see how we're all connected. And we can see that in our neighbor. We can see that in animals, trees, all amazingly connected, all essentially the same. Take a moment to just reconnect to that word that you want to fill yourself with. And breathe it in quite deeply 3 times. Breathing out anything that's stopping you from receiving it. And start to move through your body. Maybe bending through your knees and bringing them into your chest and rocking. And you can roll over onto one side when you're ready. And gently push up. Back to how we started, back to a seat. Closing your eyes again just for a moment. Acknowledging any shifts within your body, mind, emotional body, energy body, and spirit. Bringing your 2 hands together, bowing forward, sealing your practice. Namaste.